save his life.
She's got a lot of support out there. The defense is going to lean on forensic experts to try and show that O'Keefe's injuries were from a beating and a dog bite. You can see the injuries there. The defense is also saying that one of those female acquaintances who went with Reed to look for O'Keefe was in on the cover-up. They say the woman Google searched the phrase, "how long to die in the cold," just hours before the body was found. So, we've got a damning Google search on one side. There's also damning comments, texts, and a voicemail on the other side. Not long after dropping O'Keefe off, Reed sent him a voicemail saying, "You're an effing loser, F yourself, I hate you." First responders claim Reed said, I hit him. She says they're missing critical context.
The firefighter said that you said, I hit him.
I said, I hit him. It was preceded by a did and proceeded by a question mark. What I thought could have happened was that did I incapacitate him unwittingly, somehow, and then in his drunkenness, passed out?
Is it possible that you might have hit him unwittingly in your admittedly very large SUV?
No, not possible.
That's Matt Gutman from ABC there. But prosecutors plan to call as many as 87 witnesses. 23 members of law enforcement are on the list. The defense submitted 77 potential witnesses. Back with me, Geraldo Rivera, Jesse Weber, and Misty Marris. Jesse, this is a case that's really divided Boston. Do you think that those supporting Karen Reed are giving the defense too much credit here, or you think they've got a real reasonable doubt argument?
I mean, the defense has presented a lot so far without even an opening statement. You know, they've had a lot of pretrial motions. There's an investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office into what happened here. I'll tell you, I am curious if this divide that you're seeing in the public will be kind of a microcosm of what the jury will be. Will they have that kind of divide? You asked me if there's a cover-up. Feels like a big pill to swallow, but then you kind of read through the tea leaves and you try to see a little bit more. There's an explanation for each one of these bad pieces of evidence. Then on the other side is it has to be a cover-up by EMTs, law enforcement, all at the behest of people to protect that party.
Would it have to have been multiple people involved in the cover-up?
Well, just to add to this, so the broken taillight,
yeah,
you would have to assume that someone got that taillight and then planted it on his body. That's the little tough sell.
Yeah, I think a conspiracy and a cover-up, that's hard to sell to a jury. It's very complicated. And right now, we know some of the evidence that's going to come in. There's significant evidence about an acrimonious relationship between her and the victim. And I don't know, I think a jury's more likely to go for that more simple explanation.
But a retired DEA special agent was on Banfield this week, and he believes that there is no way that Karen Reed's taillight could have shattered at the scene as prosecutors are insisting. Let's listen.
I went to Lexus dealerships. They told me not only do they have, it's a polycarbonate plastic, one of the hardest plastics you can have. The law of physics, there you go, right there. See all that red? In the final picture where the prosecution is saying this is how it ends up, it's no way. So polycarbonate plastic, very hard. 6,500 pounds going into a 220-pound male human will topple him over. It will not crack up the taillight in 37-plus pieces.
Geraldo, reasonable doubt?
I think so, and I don't know how in the hell you're going to prove it. One way or the other. I know we only want the jury's only go one way, but it's baffling to me. I would focus on the email. How long to live in the snow and the cold? What's that about? Is it more like the Kansas City case where they're searching for the innocents wandering in the storm? I think this is a very tough case. I can't see how you get a conviction out of this based on this evidence. And a cop next door, cops and...
But the only issue is that once you start claiming that there was a frame job, right, you're kind of forcing the defense to have a burden, right?
Right.
Even if it's not legally a burden, but practically the jurors are going to say, have they proven this or not?
It's interesting you say that because they said, we're going forward with this third-party culprit defense. It's not our burden to tell you who it was.
Right.
But we're kind of telling you who it was.
But I do think that they add a burden to themselves. Anyway, everyone's going to stick around. Still ahead, the trial for an... Thank you for watching.
Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.